imagine more stories that soar, business, life, and so much more. Laughs, lessons, and local delight. It's the podcast that feels just right. It's the Imagine More podcast.
Welcome back to the Imagine More podcast, the show where we celebrate the thinkers, creators, and storytellers who make Moore County a place worth bragging about at family reunions. I'm your host, Rose Young, the woman who believes every great community is stitched together by the people who care enough to tell its stories. Today, I have a guest who has spent a lifetime doing that. Author, historian, columnist, and chronicler of everything from Duke sports to the soul of small-town North Carolina. Lewis Bowling is with us. Welcome, Lewis.
Oh, thank you, Rose. Glad to be here.
He has written 13 books. Yes, 13. Is that right, 13?
I believe that's right. Working on a 14th.
Working on the 14th, which means his brain is basically an overachieving library, plus hundreds of articles for newspapers and magazines like Go Duke, Sandhills Magazine, and the Oxford Ledger. His work has preserved stories that may otherwise have disappeared into the fog of time. And perhaps most relevant to today's conversation, Lewis is the author of Sam Ragan, North Carolina's literary godfather, a man whose influence can still be felt throughout Moore County. Editor of The Pilot, North Carolina Poet Laureate, friend to the Boyds, and driving force behind the literary culture that still thrives at the Weymouth Center. As many of you know, I live in Sam Ragan's former house. So this episode is a little personal, a little magical, and absolutely full of history. Lewis, before we celebrate Sam Ragan's legacy, I want to begin with your story. When did you first realize that writing and storytelling were going to be the thread running through your entire life?
Well, Rose, to be honest with you, as a young boy, I developed a love of reading. And I think a love of reading is an understatement. I take a book everywhere I go. And my first library, so to speak, was my granddaddy. We called him Papa. He had a box of Western paperbacks that he kept under his bed.
Western, huh?
Well, I think they were Zane Grey mostly, but he would, every time I visited Papa, he would say, go under the bed and pull that box out and get 2 or 3 paperbacks and books and take them home. And so that was my first official library there, and that love of reading led to my writing.
I love that, Lewis. That's the coolest thing. I remember going to visit my grandmother in Louisiana, and she didn't have the Western books, but her whole Carolina room, I wonder if it was called Louisiana room, but it was filled with Reader's Digest. Do you remember the Reader's Digest?
Yeah, I sure do.
I would sit out there on the porch and just read all afternoon long.
I was just before I came over here. I was at the Weymouth Center, and I passed a book of a shelf of books in one of the rooms, and picked up some old St. Andrew's reviews. And,
Did you?
And had a good time rummaging through them on my way over to see you today.
Oh, nice. So you've written 13 books. None are self-published, which is quite rare these days. What keeps you inspired enough to start a new one every time an old one is finished?
Yeah. It's just the bug has bit me long ago, and it's what I do pretty much full time now is write. And and so, like I say, I finish one. I usually have one book in process while I'm finishing another book.
Really?
So I don't have much downtime in between books, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
So how do you get inspired by? I mean, how do you know what you're going to write about?
Well, a lot of my writing has been about Granville County, where I'm from. I guess you could say I'm the county historian there, and people come to me. I write a weekly history column for the Oxford Ledger, as you mentioned, and people come to me with ideas to write about, and Granville County has commissioned me to write 3 books, I think. And so, it inspires me to have people come to me with ideas and say, would you write about this? And I feel, somewhat of an obligation to write about, but I love writing about Granville County history and other things too. Sam Ragan, with this, he's known around Southern Pines and Weymouth, but he's known around the state of North Carolina, but he was born in Berea.
Okay.
About 8 miles from where I was born.
Really?
Out in the country of Granville County. So that's how I started with Sam Ragan.
Oh, my goodness. So you've traveled and taught fitness certification classes in Thailand and Malaysia. You've written sports history. You've done local history columns. How have all these different chapters of your life shaped you as a writer?
Just made me aware that history is so very important. And I think sometimes in today's society, we might be, a certain segment of the population seems to be not so keen on history and
drives me crazy.
Me too. And I hear people, there was a newspaper in Granville County called the Button Creedmoor News. They closed down about 2 years ago, and they had boxes and boxes of old pictures in the attic of their office building. The owner had told me I could have them, but after the new owners came in, I went to see them, and they said we threw all those pictures away. I mean, boxes and
no.
I mean, literally, to them it meant nothing. Taking up space.
I bet that was just like an arrow through your heart.
It was.
Oh no. Yeah. So history is what teaches us what to do and what not to do, right?
That's right.
We have to know.
That's exactly right. You learn. I write about good history, bad history, ugly history, but I think it's all part of our history, and those things that we've done well in the past, learn from that. But
right.
Things we've done bad, learn from that too. So that's
exactly.
I think we can. What's the saying? You can move forward in the future better if you look back in the past every now and then.
I love that. That's absolutely true, too. So now let's step into the world of someone who profoundly shaped Moore County, someone whose legacy still whispers through our arts community, our literary traditions, and yes, even through the walls of my own home. For listeners who may not know his full story, who was Sam Ragan?
Ragan, again, I mentioned a while ago, was born in Granville County. I know we don't have time for me to give his life story, but
you give us the short version.
I'll give a short version. He's known around the state he served as Poet Laureate for 15 years until his death in 1996. He had that position for life, appointed by Governor Hunt. And I just throw this out. Governor Hunt gave me a blurb for my book on Sam Ragan. And also I talked to Governor Hunt on the phone for about an hour, and he just praised Sam Ragan. So he appointed Ragan Poet Laureate, but he also appointed Ragan as the first Secretary of Cultural Resources back in the early 1970s. So
oh, really?
Governor Hunt just couldn't stop talking and praising Sam Ragan. But he did so many things. He was chairman of the State Arts Council. He ran the pilot here in Southern Pines, as you know, for many years. And the title of my book, North Carolina Literary Godfather, I stand by that. I really think Sam Ragan did more to influence and promote literature in North Carolina than any other person.
No kidding. I
know that's a strong statement, but I'll stand by that.
Yeah.
And that title, Literary Godfather, everybody called Sam that, so that's not original.
So what drew you to write his biography?
I think growing up 8 miles from where he was born, both of us being Granville County boys, so to speak, and both of us growing up on a tobacco farm, and I've always loved poetry. I love Walt Whitman and Robert Frost, like two popular ones, but now Sam Ragan, his poetry poured me into him, I think.
Yeah. Well, when I found out that this was his house, I went out and I bought his poetry books that he has out there.
That's great.
So I have those on my shelf.
That is great. Well, two of those poetry books were nominated for the Pulitzer Prize, as you may know. So,
No, I didn't know that.
So he was a great poet.
So they talk about the pilot, how he always had change in his pocket.
Right.
And he'd walk around shaking the change, and that's how they knew he was coming, right?
That's right. There's a poem in my book about somebody wrote it about him and his habit of jingling his coins in his pocket. And I think, Rose, that part of that is he grew up dirt poor. He grew up in a very poor environment, had no money at all, had to work third shift jobs when he went to college and go to school during the day. And I think, to me, that hand jingling in his pocket, jingling his coins, it was kind of reminding him, hey, I've done well.
Really?
I made some money and done well.
Oh, wow. That's a great way to look at it. You know, you're probably right.
Well, that's the way I look at it. I think it was just a reminder, hey, I came from nothing and here I am, and known around the state. So.
And known everywhere. You're right. Yeah. So he was our poet laureate of North Carolina. What is a poet laureate?
It's just it's an appointed position by the governor. Nowadays, I think it's a 2-year term, but back in this Sam Ragan days, it was a lifetime appointment. So Governor Hunt appointed Ragan Poet Laureate in 1982, I believe, and he served until his death, as I said, in 96. But it's just someone who travels around the state of North Carolina and promotes reading, promotes poetry, goes to schools and reads and talks to kids, speaks to different organizations, and like I say, kind of promotes reading, literature, and poetry all at the same time.
And so is that how he used his platform to champion the arts and uplift writers around the state?
Oh, yes. Sam, as I said a while ago, writers came to him all the time. He had when he ran the pilot, he devoted, as you may know, Rose, he devoted several pages just to literature in the pilot newspaper.
Yeah.
And he published authors' columns, their poems, and their stories, and help them to get started and see their name in publication for the first time. One little aside, Reynolds Price, who everybody knows, most people do, one of the great writers that North Carolina's ever had. His first time seeing his name in print was after he sent a poem to Sam Ragan here at the pilot.
Really?
And Sam told him he was going to publish it the next day, and Reynolds has said for many years, Reynolds Price, that he was a high school student, stayed up all night to run out and get that next morning's paper so he could see his name in print.
Oh, wow.
And of course, Reynolds Price, I think he went on to quite a few other publications after that.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
That's right.
So Sam shaped the pilot into a respected, beloved newspaper. He was close to the Boyd family and deeply connected to the Weymouth Center. What made his presence in Moore County so transformative?
I think just people who visit Weymouth is such a wonderful place. I rode by early this morning, and there were 2 people just using the grounds to walk around, walk their dogs.
And it's a glorified dog park for sure.
Yeah. And Sam just used Weymouth. I forget if you're going to ask this question or not, Rose, but it's related to what you just asked. He's the person who really is most responsible for making Weymouth what it is today.
Right.
He kind of established the Friends of Weymouth organization and saved Weymouth and built it into he established that writer's residence program. Right. He established the North Carolina Literary Hall of Fame. All of that came from Sam Ragan. So,
no kidding.
Oh, yeah.
I knew about the writers in residence program that he did, but I didn't realize he got us the Literary Hall of Fame.
Yes, definitely. He was the leading force behind that. And I believe I should have checked on this, Rose. You may know, but I think the Hall of Fame was established in 1996. I think that's the year Sam died.
The year he passed.
And I think he was inducted posthumously the next year after.
Oh,
after
really?
I believe I'm right on
I'll
those
have
dates.
to look,
Yeah,
because there's a big bust of him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so that's how I went up to the Weymouth Center because I was going to volunteer,
Right.
weirdly, because I had been here years and never even knew anything about it.
Right.
And there he was sitting right there. I'm like, well, I live in his house. And Julie, who's the director of programs and event, was like, you're kidding.
Well, do you ever feel Sam's presence in this
yes.
house, Rose?
Why am I working at the Weymouth Center? Why are you sitting right here in my house on my podcast right now? Is that not a turn of events?
I know it sure is. It sure is.
So I live in Sam's former house, which has been very exciting for me. From your research, what does a place like that reveal about who he is? And how do the spaces he lived and worked in reflect the spirit of his writing?
That's a great question, Rose. I can, as I sit in your house right today where Sam Ragan used to live, I know it may sound strange to say this, but I feel his spirit, because when you write a biography of someone, I never met Sam Ragan, never knew him, but
I wish you would have met him.
I wish I had too, but I feel like he's part of my family now, and I feel his spirit in this house. And I've got a picture in my book of Sam sitting in your backyard in a chair, looking up at the trees and just and relaxing and enjoying nature. He loved nature, and I think of your house when I see that picture. But I've been to the Pilot where his old office was, in the newspaper office, and and I've also, of course, I've been to Weymouth. So everywhere around Southern Pines, he certainly has left his legacy.
And I'm so glad you're telling this story, because not everyone around here realizes how much the Boyds and Sam Ragan did for Moore County.
Oh yeah. And I certainly, you're right. James and Catherine Boyd were, along with Sam, were so instrumental in promoting literature. And of course, Sam bought the Pilot from Catherine Boyd in 1968, but I think he officially started with the Pilot in 1969, but the deal went through in 1968. And this is just an aside, Rose, it just come to my mind. He bought the Pilot in 1968 for $100,000. He had been with the Raleigh News and Observer for about 25 years. He used some of his stock options in the News and Observer to buy the Pilot.
Really?
And he sold it in his later years for $4.8 million.
No.
So he
made a deal.
I say that to he the Pilot's always been a good news. He is today under David Warrenoff. But he at one time he had the Pilot's subscriptions over 15,000, and
Really?
I think that's about what Southern Pine's population.
It's not much bigger than that now.
I don't think so.
Southern Pines itself.
Yeah, well, I love small towns. My point is he had as many subscribers as the population of the town he was in. That's pretty.
Wow,
that's pretty good. There.
That's amazing.
It is.
It really is. He would probably be sad about the fact that newspapers are kind of going away.
Exactly. I hate that myself. I'm old fashioned. I get a subscription to the New York Times and the Durham Herald Sun, and they drop it in my driveway every day. I like to pick it up and read it in my hands. I don't like to read newspapers online like some people do. But you're right. It's hard for print journalism these days.
It is. Did you ever deliver papers yourself?
No. I had, but I've got a good man delivers mine, and I enjoy reading the Times and the Durham Herald Sun.
Yeah. So there's now a historic marker honoring Sam Ragan that you made sure happened. Can you share the story behind how that recognition came about?
Well, I think it was about 2 years ago. I went through the process of nominating Sam for the mark. You have to write a proposal, you could say, almost like a book proposal, and it was approved. And I wasn't surprised, of course. And I got it placed in Berea, where he was born, as I said a while ago, in Granville County. And I know some of the people here at Weymouth are kind of jealous of me now, that they think and rightly so. They would have liked to have had that
We would have
marker.
loved to have it, yes.
Yeah, but my Granville County roots had me up telling that Berea was the best place. But
Yeah.
it's near a, if any of your listeners ever in Granville County, Berea is a small community, but the marker's right next to what used to be the Berea High School.
Okay.
It's now the Berea Library.
Oh.
So his marker is about 20 yards from the library.
Very
So
fitting.
I told the librarian when it went up, now Sam loves to read, so when he checks out books from your library, don't charge him overdue fee.
Yeah.
But it's in a good place, I think.
Well, we thought when we first moved here, there was just this feeling of, I don't know, I want to say happiness, I guess. I don't know. It just has a really nice feel to this house.
Yeah.
It's solid, and it's just, I don't know how to describe it,
Yeah.
Lewis. I don't know how to describe it.
Well, you were very gracious and showed me around this beautiful house before we started talking today, and I'm ready to make you an offer on your house.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well. That's funny.
I could sit in your house and write about Sam Ragan even further. I think his spirit would make my writing even better. Improved anyway, I'll say that.
Well, you talked about him loving nature, and we have about an acre that goes to this house. But before we bought it, it had more property around it. But we counted, just in the backyard, there's 100 of those longleaf pine trees.
Oh, my goodness.
In our backyard.
That's great. Man, that's great. Well, look, Sam absolutely loved trees. Every time the town of Southern Pines started cutting down trees, he put up a fight for you.
Oh, my goodness.
He didn't like that. And he must have written 10 poems about trees, and he just did not like for trees to come down.
No, I don't either. It always makes me mad when someone cuts down. Funny you should say that, because I did hear a story. I don't remember where, Lewis, but down at the end of the driveway. The story is there's a tree, and the city wanted to cut it down because it grew into the wires.
Right.
And Sam would have a fit every time they would come. So they just cut into it where the wires go across.
Right,
You can see it when you go out there because it's still out there. And, they made the tree look terrible, right? But it still is there.
Yeah.
He would not let them cut that tree down. I forget who told me that.
I believe that, certainly. One quick story, Rosie, if we have time. Speaking of that, when he was the pilot, Southern Pines, the town, they were going to cut down some trees on the street there at the pilot. And he objected, wrote columns against it. He held them off for about a year, but he got some concessions. He said, all right, if you cut these trees down, plant some new ones in their place. Also, use the wood that you cut these trees down. Use it for artifacts for the city, plaques and things like that.
That makes sense.
So he got some concessions there, but he fought them for about a year. But you could say he lost that battle, but I think he actually won when you look at it that way.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Since our audience is largely Moore County residents, many of them small business owners and creatives, let's talk about Sam's influence right here at home. What was unique about Sam's approach to leading the pilot, and how did that shape our community?
Well, he's got, if I'm not mistaken, the slogan that he used for the pilot is still on the masthead for the pilot today. I think they're still using it. And I have to paraphrase it, but it's something like, print all the news and excuse my language, print all the news and raise hell.
Is that what it is?
And that's I think that's in the pilot even today.
Oh,
They still use that. But anyway, he just built the pilot, and it was a good paper before he came, but he certainly increased the circulation, as I said. Used many pages for literary efforts from authors around the state.
Right.
The pilot won many awards, and it just had a great influence through that newspaper.
Sam believed that strong communities are built through shared stories. Where do you see evidence of that belief still alive in Moore County today?
I would say go back to Weymouth. I think it's such a beautiful place, and it's such a gathering place for people who love books, who love reading, who love writing, who love good literature and arts and things of that nature. And I think that's one of his lasting legacies, is that he worked so hard to make Weymouth into turning it from a privately owned house into that cultural and arts center that it is today.
A welcome place.
Sure.
So if Sam were alive during this era of podcast and constant digital connection, what do you think he would encourage today's creative entrepreneurs to do?
Grab a book and read it.
Yeah.
Put your phone down, put your computers away, and grab a good book and read it. Talk to writers and talk to other people who enjoy literature. And I think he would say that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right.
He had I've seen pictures of his office at the Pilot, and my goodness, 2 or 3 feet tall of old newspapers stacked on his desk, books all over the place. But that's the way he operated, and you could hardly see him behind his desk because of all the newspapers piled up.
Your book paints such a vivid picture of Moore County in Sam's time. The intellectual gatherings, the literary salons, the friendships. What surprised you most in your research?
Well, I think most of it is I knew that Sam was important to our state. I knew that. But man, when I started the research and the writing of this book, it just overwhelmed me. I was in the archives at the Wilson Library at UNC Chapel Hill for quite a few days, going through his papers there. And I just couldn't believe the letters of praise that writers and authors had for Sam.
Yeah.
Just one after another. Thank you, Sam, for publishing my poem. Thank you for suggesting a publisher to use. Thank you for looking at my manuscript and making suggestions. I mean, it's just folder after folder of that. And
wow.
It just overwhelmed me that, I sat there and I said, my goodness, this man had more influence on literature than any other person in the state's history. And I know that I said that a while ago. That's an awfully strong statement, I realize, but I think I can really back that up. He is the top, at the very top of the totem pole in the North Carolina, making North Carolina the literary state that it is.
I can't wait to read your book, Lewis. I haven't read it, but I will certainly pick that up and read it because you really have tweaked my interest.
And also, Rose, I have one of my favorite poems of Sam Ragan's. It's called "The Farmer."
Okay.
He grew up on a tobacco farm, as I said a while ago. I know this poem came from that. His family lost their farm, and he had to move to another county. They were so poor.
Oh, wow.
And when they moved to this other county, Johnston County, it was the Ladies' Aid Society had to donate clothes to their family. I mean, they were just dirt poor. But he wrote a poem called "The Farmer," and I'm going to play that for your listeners. And it's Sam. He wrote the poem, but he's actually saying the poem himself, so you'll hear his voice.
I'm so thrilled to hear it because I've never heard his voice.
Some people say his granddaughter, Robin Smith, has told me several times that I sound like Sam. So I take that as a great compliment.
I would too, yeah.
The Farmer. I have seen sunrise. I have seen moonrise from these fields. You know the old saying, a farmer's work from sun to sun. A woman's work is never done. And there's a lot of truth in that. I have seen her face grow old and tired, and I ain't what I used to be. But I love to see things grow. There have been some good years along with the bad, and there's nothing better than looking out over green, growing fields. There's something about the land which gets inside you, and it stays with you the rest of your life. This land has been in my family for over 100 years. I sure do hate to lose it.
Wow, that was so powerful, listening to Sam read his own poetry. And what an amazing, deep Southern accent. Just like you say, he was a real Southern gentleman. Thank you so much for bringing this, Lewis. You've written for Moore County audiences through Sandhills Magazine and other publications. What do you enjoy most about connecting with this particular community of readers?
I love Moore County and Southern Pines and Pinehurst. It's such a good-natured folks down here, and highly educated, highly cultured, and love of books and literature and arts. And I just think it's a great place for that type of environment. And as I say, I know Sam Ragan had a large hand in making Moore County what it is today, along with many other folks also.
Right.
And I do want to give James and Catherine Boyd so much credit too. I know I'm here to talk about Sam, but
you're here to talk about anybody you want to, Lewis.
Well, I don't want to slip up and say that I did all this myself. That wouldn't be true. So I better not say that.
So congratulations on receiving the Alan D. Hart Alumni Award from Lewisburg College. Tell us what that is, and then tell us, what did that honor mean to you?
It meant so much to me, Rose, because, as I say, I'm a graduate of Lewisburg College and was on the tennis team there, and I love the college. And the award, the Alan D. Hart, he was actually a former professor of mine, so it made it even more it even more special. He was
absolutely.
I got the award. He's no longer living, but I got the award named in his honor, and he was such a good professor, and I just felt very humbled but grateful that I was chosen for that honor.
And tell me what the award is for our listeners.
It's mainly it goes back to alumni who have made contributions and I don't want to say did well. I don't mean that, but have made contributions beyond after graduating from the college.
Right.
And I'm sure that I got the honor mostly because of my many books that I've written. I think that was the main reason.
Now, you've got 13 books behind you. In how many years?
Oh, my goodness. Let me see. Rose, I actually started writing late in life. I read my whole life. I didn't publish my first book until the year 2002. That was 23 years ago. So I guess I've written 13 books in the last 23 years.
Wow.
Hadn't even thought of that for a while, but as I say, I'm working on my 14th, but I just throw this out, my book I'm working on now, kind of related to Sam Ragan, but I'm writing about a longtime South Carolina Poet Laureate, Archibald Rutledge. He was Poet Laureate down there for over 30 years. He had a lifetime appointment too, and I'm presently working on that biography.
Oh, all right.
I guess I'm the Poet Laureate author, I guess.
Yeah.
But I love poetry, so it's right down my alley.
Have you ever tried to write any poetry?
I submitted one poem many years ago. It did get published, so no, I really haven't. I love poetry, but I haven't really had the desire to write poetry. I'm more of a prose writer, I guess, and more. I'm really, all of my books have been nonfiction, by the way, and so not to upset your listeners out there, but fiction's a great genre, and people should read and participate in what they enjoy.
They enjoy.
It's just I just like nonfiction. I read nonfiction and I write nonfiction.
Oh, really? So you don't read the fiction?
Honestly, this would amaze you, Rose. The honest truth. I mean this sincerely. I hope I don't upset your readers. I haven't read a fiction book in, oh my goodness, 30, 40 years.
Really?
I just have to, to me, it just has to be real. It has to be something that really happened, an event, a person who was really there. That's just my way of looking at it. But again, fiction, people should read what they enjoy,
Yeah. So if you could sit down with Sam right now, what would you ask him?
Oh my goodness. I would say, Sam, did when you were living, did you have any idea of what your legacy would be?
Yeah.
And I think he did to some extent. I think he had to, because he had so many important positions throughout the state. But I would say, Sam, I've written a biography of you, which has been well received, and I've put up an historical marker on you and about you. And so I would say to him, Sam, I love you. I grew to love you in writing the book, and I'm going to always work to preserve your legacy.
Nice. So, Lewis, it's time for the quick fire round. No thinking, just answer whatever pops into your mind first.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Coffee or sweet tea
Sweet
while
tea.
writing?
Oh, sweet. No coffees.
You're a sweet tea
I'm a
guy.
sweet tea person.
Okay. True Southerner then. Yeah.
Sweet tea or Diet Mountain Dew.
Diet Mountain Dew. Oh, my goodness. Book you wish you had written.
Oh, my goodness. I wish I had. There was a poet, Donald Hall. I don't get. He was lived in Connecticut. He's from New Hampshire, and his biography. He passed away about 7 years ago. He was U.S. Poet Laureate, and I wanted to write that book, and I contacted his estate that controls his papers, and somebody beat me to the biography of him. And I'm a big fan of Donald Hall. I must have 10 books of his. So anyway, I'm going too long with this, but that's the book that I most regret not getting.
Okay. Most surprising place inspiration has struck.
See, I would say, quite honestly, this is going to sound self-serving, but at my house with my wife, she was an English major, taught school for 30 years.
Okay.
She has everything I've written. I mean, newspaper columns, magazines, books. It goes through her after I get through.
Really?
And when I send something to a publisher, they don't find anything because she's better than the publishers are at finding things. And so that's my inspiration. I know that when I write something, I have her support and the fact that it's going to be clean once she edits it and goes through it.
Oh, that's an art too.
Oh, it is. Oh, I couldn't have done it without her. Her name is Belle.
One word to describe Sam Ragan.
Can I use two?
Okay, use two.
Southern gentleman.
Southern gentleman.
He was old-fashioned, well-dressed all the time, as you may know. Dapper, had the fedora on, and always had the bow tie. You know, that was his trademark. He wore a bow tie everywhere he went. Dapper as he could be, doffed his hat to ladies, opened doors for ladies, such good manners, and I would just say Southern gentleman.
Southern gentleman. I just love that. Favorite spot in Moore County for creative thinking?
Weymouth.
Definitely Weymouth.
I was just in one of the rooms up there a couple hours ago, and next to the Paul Green room, and I just absorbed that. Being in Weymouth, I was taking a little break and just resting a bit, but I was just thinking, my goodness, I would get a 2-week residence at Weymouth, and I could really get a lot done there. And the place would inspire me to.
Well, we certainly invite you and would love to have you.
Yeah.
You know, they opened the Lamont Cottage, too. That's just a little bit down on the grounds.
Okay.
And you can stay anywhere up to a month down there.
My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called again?
The Lamont Cottage.
Lamont Cottage. I'll check into that for sure.
So something most people would never guess about you.
I think that I'm a nerd. As my wife says.
Well, we would have guessed that.
But I don't know if I look like a nerd or act like a nerd. But this is the honest truth, Rose. Before I came over to you, I told you I saw a bookshelf loaded with books. So I started going through the books, and I was so excited. I cut my finger right there.
Oh no!
I was bleeding profusely about an hour ago. And I got it to stop. But if that's not a nerd, cutting yourself while going through books on a bookshelf.
And you didn't stop. You kept on looking.
I kept on going.
I'll give you a Band-Aid when we leave. So if your life were a book genre, what would it be?
It would definitely be. It would be nonfiction. It would be probably, I'd like to be remembered as a writer who worked to preserve history. Simple as that.
Okay.
Everything I write is about preserving and remembering history and looking at it. And as we said a while ago, helping us to make decisions as we go forward.
Yes. Now, what was the first book you wrote?
The first book was a history of Granville County, where I'm from.
Okay.
Oxford. Some of you audience may know that, but not far from Moore County. But I grew up in Granville County, and my first book was a history of Granville County.
Now, where can we find your books?
They're on Amazon.
They're on Amazon.
I think most, if not all, of my books are on Amazon. Places like that, Barnes and Nobles. And certain bookstores have them, and they're easy to look at online. And
Okay.
if you just Google my name, and they'll come up. Or go to Amazon. I think they're all on Amazon.
Okay. And so Lewis Bowling, how do you spell your last name for those of us wanting to look you up?
Bowling, and Lewis is Lewis, not Louis.
Okay. And do you have a website that we can?
I don't have a website.
check out?
I've had one, and I let it pass on, elapse, and I haven't gotten it back up. But I'm working on that, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we want to look you up and see when your next book is coming out. Keep up with you.
I hope you will. And as I say, just if you're interested in what I've written, just say Google Lewis Bowling author, and I think you'll find I do a lot of speaking and things like that and writing. So hope your readers will stay in touch with. your listeners will stay in touch with me.
Okay. And so, Lewis, I always write a jingle I'm a retired music teacher.
Oh.
So I always write a little jingle for every guest as a thank you for being on the show.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
So here is your jingle.
Okay.
When the stories start flowing and the history starts glowing, who's the one that keeps it going? Yep, it's Lewis Bowling. Books and columns, tales worth knowing. Pull up a seat for Lewis Bowling.
Oh, Rose, that is great. Oh my goodness, that is absolutely great. I feel like now you've written a poem or jingle about me, and that makes me feel good.
Oh, good.
I appreciate that. You're a good writer.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
a good writer. Yeah.
Thank you, Lewis. So, what is one thing you hope listeners take away about Sam Ragan or about the importance of keeping local stories alive?
I hope people will just get to know Sam, get to know his legacy, his spirit, talk to people. My goodness, if all of us could be the person that Sam Ragan was, this world would be such a better place. It was just a good man, friendly man, tried to help people, humble as he could be, but, did so much. And so if we could all get to know him and learn from him, and he wasn't perfect, nobody is, but I think we could be so much better people as we go forward.
Do you have any other story you would like to tell us?
I think we've covered most everything, but Sam, I will say this: he was after he moved to Johnston County in high school. Even though he switched schools, his senior year he was valedictorian of his high school.
Oh,
And then when he went to what was then called Atlantic Christian College, called Barton University now, but I think I mentioned it. He worked a third shift job all night long. Got up the next day and went to classes. Got a couple of hours sleep and did it all over again because, again, his family had no money, so he had to work to go to college. And I think this is appropriate. He was editor of the Atlantic Christian Yearbook and the school newspaper. So he started there, and he developed a nickname that any writer in this world would just be sky high if you called him this. His nickname in college was Shakespeare.
Really?
His friends and other students called him Shakespeare's.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Can't get any better than that, can you?
No.
For a nickname if you're a writer.
Oh, you're right. That's cool. It's been such an honor to have you on our podcast, and I've loved hearing the stories about Sam. And like I said, it's synchronicity that you're sitting right here next to me, don't you think?
I think so. It's Rose and Lewis and Sam right here. I really feel him looking over our shoulders right now and probably smiling.
Yeah. Lewis, thank you for sharing your time and your incredible breadth of knowledge with us today. Your work reminds us that history is not just dates and facts, it's people, relationships, and voices that still shape the way we live. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to the Imagine More podcast. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and share so more people can discover the stories that make Moore County extraordinary. And don't forget to go on Amazon and look up Lewis, Lewis, Bowling, Bowling, and check out the 13 books that he's got on there. Or next time you're in Barnes & Noble, pick up the Sam Ragan book. Imagine a community where stories are preserved as carefully as heirlooms. Imagine the future writers and dreamers inspired by the legacy of Sam Ragan and Lewis left behind. And as always, keep imagining more. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. I enjoyed it.
Imagine more stories that soar, business, life, and so much more. Laughs, lessons, and local delight. It's the podcast that feels just right. It's the Imagine More podcast.